Welcome to Aquashella Live. I'm going to have these wonderful two ladies on either side of me introduce themselves. To
I'm,
my right
I'm Kerri with ScienceGal Aquatics.
and to my left.
Jess with mainsails, fur, and fins.
We just want to welcome you to the chat. I'm so glad you're here.
Right? Thank you guys. Like, this has been so much fun. I want to do it over and over and over and over again.
Oh my gosh, yes. It never gets old. The excitement of that first day when the doors open, it just never gets old. It really doesn't.
No, and there's like a rush, and that it makes it even more exciting after everybody starts coming in, and it's like sensory overload.
Oh my goodness, yes.
The adrenaline just starts building.
Like mine built like a week ago.
I think mine started last year.
Well, exactly how many Aquashellas have both of you attended? Kerri?
All of them but the original one.
I did
So-
not get to the original one. This is my first year period, and I hit Orlando, and I was really close to getting to Chicago, but now I'm in Dallas.
So 2 out of 3 for this year.
2 out of 3 for this year.
Three for Kerri.
Uh-huh.
And only missing one. So I believe, what is that? 6, 7?
I lost count. I don't know. It's just fun.
And Dallas has been a blast. There's so many great vendors.
Yeah, I haven't gotten all the way through yet. I'm still exploring and still finding new booths that I'm like, oh my goodness, I missed this.
Like, I've only made like one lane.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I get stopped a lot with the dogs.
Yeah,
So
Jess brought her puppies, and they're super cute.
Yes, underneath our table right now, we have 2 beautiful corgis
Adorableness.
that will be on the live stream with us.
right? I might could get one of them in my lap here shortly.
Yeah. But what do you guys want to talk about first? Do you want to jump into the backstory of
Absolutely.
partners in crime and the hobby?
Absolutely.
Well, we're together and we have known each other our whole lives. We grew up next door to each other, but we've just relatively recently, the past 6 years, been together. In the first half, you supported me in the way that you let me buy tanks and put them up, and you would only give me the side eye. I don't get it. But the last handful of years since you started going to Aquashellas with me and you got bit by the bug,
I
and
did
no
get
one
bit by the bug. That
and
is
no
true.
one tells me no. It's
The
been
MTA
the
bug.
best thing ever.
I think what really kicked it out was probably one of the first fish auctions.
Yes. In Primetime Aquatics' fish room.
Yeah, that probably pushed it over the edge.
That's
It
what-
really did.
That would have
That's
done
what
it for me
did
too,
it.
for real.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jess, what about you? What's your...
So mine was my mom. My mom is what got me into fish, and then I everything jump in with both feet and then well over my head.
Yeah.
So end up with about 40 plus now. I've lost count,
Uh-huh.
but I don't have a designated garage. So I have to take up a spare room, which is tiny. And then from there just started going all over the house. I can put one here or I can put one there. Can I
Wherever.
squeeze another one? Oh, wait, let's start going up.
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
That is when multi-tank syndrome really sets in, when you finally figure out, I don't need to go longer anymore. I need to go up.
exactly. However, my husband is not and wasn't bit by the bug.
Yeah.
Yet. It will happen.
It will.
I have faith.
It's a
gonna
myth.
happen.
Yeah. If you're watching, it's a coming.
Well, you have to just find that one particular fish
Uh-huh.
I
that
know.
he likes, and
Uh-huh.
then it's gonna be game on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was yours?
It wasn't necessarily there's a fish, but I'm going to
Okay.
step in because it's the putting it together, the air pumps, the hooking it up. I'll be I really need an extra plug-in, and I don't want to I don't know what to do. And he'd be I'll figure. And that slowly evolved to getting into the fish room to have a favorite fish. Type of thing.
She started me with the
Uh-huh.
hardware.
Yeah, the
As
hardware.
anybody
That's the right
watched her
word.
channel knows, I'm the guy that I go crazy over the building. Again, back to the multi-tanks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, now we're going to go up, and I'm going to build it bigger, stronger, so I can hold the absolute maximum amount
Yes.
of weight possible. If you want to put two 75s above each other or hundreds, yeah, I'm going to build you a rack that it will not break.
Right. Well, he's starting to get to that. I'll be like, hey, I need another rack. Will you pick me out one?
Uh-huh.
Or, hey, how much weight can I put here? Can I add another one? Can I go up? Like, is the roof going to make me enough room, to keep going up?
Well,
Or
see,
electrical outlets
Yeah.
is another one.
maybe he needs to pause it and come back later because we're going to have a plan by the end of this chat. Be like, okay, plan A, I need this. And then plan B, we're going to find you a fish.
Right.
And then we're going to be like, that fish needs to go do something. Like, we'll go hang out and collect rocks somewhere together or something. So it's like, we don't have much time together. So it's even turned into like things we can do together that we wouldn't normally. Like, he would be upstairs doing laundry or something, and I'd be doing something with the kids. But
Good
now we
man,
can
laundry.
like do stuff. Yeah, he does.
Yes,
He
thank
does.
you.
Now he doesn't always put the girly stuff like the
Right. Oh,
fragrance.
yeah.
But he tries. He does it. But now it's turned into like things we can we never thought that we could do together.
Yeah.
Type of thing. And
Ooh,
it might
can't
just be 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But it does make things like this because I have come to these by myself and it was really fun.
Yeah.
But it's fun to have
Oh,
your
yeah.
better half to be like, now that he doesn't say no, be like, what about this plant? Could we put it in this tank? Or what about this type of substrate? And it's good to have someone to bounce off.
Right. Oh my gosh, that would be like amazing. Like, So he came with me to Orlando.
Yeah.
Along with my two sons.
Yeah.
So I wasn't just dragging one; I was dragging three.
Yeah.
But I mean, he did enjoy it the amount of time he was there. But then he was, peace out, gone.
Yeah.
So-
They just don't want to stay as long. And at least they're here and they'll support you. But they'll be like, are you almost done? And you're like, no, I've got like a day and a half left.
Right.
Like,
what are you talking about?
don't rush me.
Right.
And
it's like, I don't understand why you don't want to stay.
Yeah,
I mean,
like, I'm just glad. I appreciate when he did come to them and he wasn't as excited because at least he was there with me, But it does make it like when you can, like, he doesn't say no.
Right.
Well, I think from a man's perspective, unless you're crazy already into the hobby, which we're here, there's a lot of guys that are.
Yeah.
But if you're not, for me, it was the small things, the small steps, and she didn't ever force me to do it.
Yeah.
She asked for my help, and then I felt validated, and then I was like, well, maybe I could try this and learn some more about this.
Yeah.
And I did, and now I'm trying to drag her into aquascaping, which she is decent at, but now she's backpedaling on me.
See, it does I will say one of the negative things is now he knows just as much probably, if not more than me. So he'll be like, that tank's been there for like a week. Don't you think you need to get
Something
on?
needs
And I was
done,
like,
woman.
wait, you've been in this for like a year. I've been in this for like my whole life. You're gonna what?
Right.
But at least he gets me not to be lazy.
Right, motivated.
Yeah, motivated is a kind
Mine would
word.
we would be competing. Like, no, mine's going to be better than yours.
Well, the kids, I will have to say, the kids aren't super interested, but here lately they wanted to play around with tanks. And my little boy and his little girl will scape a little 5-gallon together. And I just think it's slowly. It's just whenever
And
they
still
question.
escape faster
Yeah,
than Kerri.
they
It's
still
amazing.
escape faster than me. But I don't ever ask them. It's whenever I'm working in the fish room and they'll be like, Mom, can I play with this? I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
I don't
hey,
care. Play her with it.
What else you need?
Yeah, so then he can maybe it'll grow into something more. Well, they'll just want to hang out in the fish room, type of thing,
Well, Landon just recently has gotten interested in axolotls.
Yeah.
So, girl, I'm on it.
Yeah.
we're getting more than one in there. And so Annie's got a turtle.
Yes, I
So-
saw your turtle.
Yeah. So it's that Eastern box turtle. Yeah, and it's a male. We found out. So
I have those in my yard.
That is so
well,
cool.
and see down here they're not common.
Yeah, I
And
found
so-
that listening to I think your mornings because they're common for I'm like that's just a my circle, but they're cool.
So-
They're living in my flower garden, eating all my weeds. I go out every morning and see them.
Oh, we could have broke so many Missouri rules and shipped their box
I
turtles.
don't even know what the rules are. I don't do that.
Yeah, you're not supposed to ship that stuff over state lines if you don't know.
Well, he
You have
always
to have
Check
a
your
permit.
state laws.
Yes, you have to have a permit. Please consult your local conservation department.
he always tells me, we need to probably sell some of these fish when we get too many. And I'm like, I don't sell my fish. I collect fish. What does this get rid of? Like,
Right.
they stay with me.
Right.
I open fish bags. I don't ship fish
Yeah,
bags.
we don't put the fish back in the bag.
No,
Why would I do that?
You enjoy them. And if I need a new tank, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go get a new
Say,
tank.
okay, the guppy had more babies. We need another tank.
Let's go.
And that is a real thing that I actually actively, this is how bad that the bug has bit me.
Uh-huh.
I actively look for deals on tanks.
Of
Yes.
course.
Yes.
And if I see them, I get them and I just show up the house and she's like, oh,
Wow,
I'm like, I
great.
couldn't pass it up. I don't know what we're going to do with them yet, but I couldn't
Right.
pass it up.
Now,
Find
I
a spot.
I know that deal has hit Joe because if he does see a tank, or if he hears of one, or if he sees the Petco deal go
Yes.
on, he's like, okay, now's your time if you're going to
Yes.
get them. But it's more like you're going to get them cheap, you ain't get them at all. Whatever.
Well, you have to start somewhere. You really do.
Uh-huh.
And I thought when Kerri just did her little project,
I can't hear you speak.
I thought when Kerri did her little project and finishing up college, and we're going to do this little guppy demonstration. It's not going to last forever.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what I thought.
I'm going to have like 6-8 tanks for just a little bit, and then
Uh-huh.
probably we'll go to one, and it won't be that
Uh-huh.
big a deal. And then it never stopped,
Yeah.
Right.
and it just progressively kept going.
Uh-huh.
And I had to find something. And like I said, the main thing, she never did push me
Mhm.
into it.
I didn't push you into it because I just did it. And
Yeah.
I was like, because how it was in the beginning, I came with a 30-gallon bow front when we moved in together. I came with my
Came with
130.
you.
Yeah, that just came with me. I had my one goldfish in there that was, I think, like 15 years old. And that was my tank. And then when I went back to school for my biology degree, I decided to do a guppy project for my undergrad. So I set up 4 5-gallon tanks, and 2 of them were stressed with, one was gravel, one was sand, and the other one was non-stressed with gravel. And I wanted to see how it manipulated the fry count and the coloration.
Ah.
So I had those in our our dining area.
Okay.
So instead of like sitting there at the dining table,
And having
I
a
had-
peaceful dinner,
I had
we're conducting
my-
an experiment.
my experiment, and so every time they had a batch of fry, they had their own take, and I was trying to do measurements and all this stuff. So like just gradually, and then we had a spot in the basement that I was like, you know what, this isn't like doing anything for us,
Right. Right.
it's just collecting dust, and it's a perfect location for a fish room. Like
right.
I was like, we could put some racks here,
Garages
and then
are
I
the
would,
best.
and then I would drop it.
Yeah.
I would just drop the topic for a while, but the dining room would get more and more cluttered.
Yes.
And then I'd be like, a couple days later, we could use this spot,
Yes,
and
folks, she tricked me. That's what she did. She tricked.
it's a perfect look. All this stuff could get off this would be a perfect idea, and you'd be helping me out so much,
Yeah, let's just move them downstairs. It'll just be like one rack,
Yeah,
and I'll put a little desk, and
Yeah.
then I can enjoy my fish
that's how it
tanks.
started. And then so he's like, yeah, that's that would be a great idea. I was like, wouldn't it though, And so he let me have that area. So I got rid of all that stuff, and we started with some racks. And then we got some more racks, and then we got some more tanks, and then he let me have that whole area.
Yeah.
Hey, but it works out because it's in the basement. The tanks stay they don't fluctuate as much as being in front of the dining room window.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's out of the way, but yet everybody that comes over goes down there because that's where the kids play and everything. So when the kids have sleepovers or company, it's always like they always gravitate towards that area, and they're just like, "What's this?"
God, I wish we could
Yeah.
have basements down here.
Yeah,
It would be awesome.
yeah, we have.
Too much water.
Yeah, we don't have that. We have a few.
Concrete is
Yeah.
the absolute best because I don't know about everyone else, but she's messy and I'm real messy.
I'm an organized chaos. I know where everything is, but I wouldn't say it's like it's great for me.
Oh, I'm seriously afraid to pull the carpet up in that room that I'm in right now. It's gonna be like, no, don't look, don't look, don't look. But then I'm spilling my stuff and everything like that. I'm like, and he sees it. And he's like, oh my God, you better hurry up and get it. Tell it. No, it's okay. You just don't want to see the rest of it.
Yeah, if we ever get new tile or carpet or flooring or whatever it is where the silver arowana tank is, it's just gonna have to be put in around the tank because you're not messing with his tank.
Right.
Oh, that's going to be a project in of itself.
That's his slowly merged from, I got this silver arowana when it fit in a 10-gallon tank. It was itty bitty. It was little bitty. And he moved into a 20 long, a 55-gallon. Now he's in a 180, and he's getting to the point we need to start shopping around.
Well, that's
for
a way to
another
do
tank.
it.
Yeah, and so that's him and his sons kind of like, they like to feed that silver arowana, and that's kind of like their thing.
Yeah.
We still
That's
take care
my
of the
fish.
yeah.
That is
We
We
my fish.
we do the maintenance together.
Yeah.
But that's his pride and joy, and now that it's a monster fish for sure, and it's still got a long ways to go. But that's definitely that was his fish. That was his fish.
Well, I never thought when she got it, and it was a baby. It was
So tiny.
even here at the show.
Yeah.
I already seen
Seen some
several
little ones.
that they were already at 9-10 inches
Yeah.
easy. We got ours. It was 4, and
It was
she did not explain to me the rapid growth of this fish.
You know,
That was in the beginning stages. That's before we knew so much about what we know now.
it was an impulse buy that I would
That
not
too.
recommend. But we have grown together as like a fish keeper and a fish. We have learned to get along. We have learned each other's personality, and yeah.
Well, it's like when he moves up from one tank, you still get to keep that other tank,
Do you
but get a bigger one.
do you know it was probably an embarrassing amount of time that we thought about how to move him from the, because that 180 is upstairs in our dining room area
Okay.
still. But we were so nervous and so attached that we didn't want to do anything to scuff up anything, that we ended up putting them in like a bigger container and then slowly just moving them upstairs and then just let it kind of float and then barely dipping them, let them swim out.
We were
But we were
so
so scared
he was going
that
to
he was
jump,
jump, yes.
and we were going to be trying to
That I
get a
was
fish off the
shaking.
floor.
That I almost dropped it just because I was so nervous. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so nerve-wracking.
So there was a lid on the top when you were moving him?
We like it wasn't clicked down. It was enough when we
Just enough
went
to keep him.
slosh the water, because it wasn't like a horrible distance, but they're jumpers.
Yeah.
And they jump with some force.
Yeah.
And it looks probably tacky, but his aquarium, the lid's kind of a catch-all, because I'm so scared. He's getting to the point when he jumps, it moves that lid.
Oh,
And I
my
don't want to
goodness.
lose him.
Well, right now he's pushing 30. He's right at 30 inches.
He's grown quite a bit. So it's kind of a catch-all for
Yes.
like flowered pots,
Yes.
thick books, anything that has
That
some
has some
weight to. But when I'm out of town, my mom watches our animals for me.
Oh.
And it was a couple Aquashellas ago that I told her, I was like, you can feed him if you want to, but we're not gone that long. It'll be okay, because he's an
Right,
aggressive eater,
Right.
She's like, no, I'll do it for you. It's
Oh,
okay.
my goodness.
So he likes veggie rounds. And there's a pleco in there too.
Okay.
And it was a brand new bottle of these veggie rounds, like a brand new bottle. And like I said, they're jumpers. And my son was in the other room, and he heard this scream.
No.
And she said, Kerri, that fish jumped and scared me so bad that I just spilled the entire thing of wafers over your entire dining room. And she just jumped and it went like that. And she's like, I don't know if I want to do that again. I'm like, it's okay. I understand.
Right. Probably
Just-
for the best.
Just make sure that the lid's on there, but it's okay. But yeah, I was like, I appreciate. Just stick with the guppies.
Yeah,
Just stick
right,
with the guppies.
yeah.
Just go feed them. We're
My
not gone
Achilles
that long.
jump like, well, not like they're not as big, but they can jump through the minutest idiot,
Yes.
like half an inch, not even like.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
If you don't have a secure lid on there,
Yes.
you will end up missing one.
Yep. I missed one just out of the last ones I got.
Mhm.
Bought 6, only 5 made it in the tank. Where she went, don't
Yeah.
know. Have no
Yeah.
clue. Like, never made it in the tank. I'm like, well, she hit the tank and then just boom,
Yeah.
boom.
I
Never
lost,
seen it.
I
Never
lost
found
my golden wonder killifish. I lost 2 from jumping.
it. Ain't no
I
joke.
haven't lost any of the guppies in the fish room, but when I keep the guppies outside in the summer tubs,
Yeah, every now
I
and then.
do lose a couple from jumping that way.
Yeah,
And
every
it
now and
seems
then.
like it's when I keep them outside that I see it more. But
I don't have lids on all of mine, but it's because I got plants coming out of the top.
yeah,
And so every now and then I'll get one out of those tanks.
yeah,
But for the most part, no. But so the funny thing about Joe when he comes in the fish rooms is he'll come in there and he'll just start looking at tank to tank and he'll be like, oh, well, that one's pretty. What the heck is wrong with that one?
yeah,
But there's nothing. It's just a different color or the different shape or the different fish.
yeah.
And so he's learning the different fish
He's-
by that.
He's interested, but he's just not.
Yeah, it's almost like he really wants to, but he ain't gonna do it just because he said he wasn't gonna do it
Yeah.
in the beginning.
Oh,
No, it will happen.
It will happen.
I guarantee it will.
Well, he has given me his room outside now,
uh-huh.
so it's just a matter of getting his stuff in the house now and me moved out there. But it's
Uh-huh.
like when he moves me out there, like I gotta have the floor redone, I gotta move shelves, I gotta put up
Mhm.
shelves.
Yeah.
Like it's not like an easy process.
Uh-uh.
But in a man's brain, it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna pull everything out and you just put your stuff in. And I'm like, no,
Uh-huh.
I gotta have the floor done. I gotta have a window unit. I gotta have a heater. I gotta have all of this stuff.
Uh-huh.
You just can't just throw me and my fish outside.
No.
Ain't happening.
I will have to say that when we work on
Sounds
a
like he's got a remodel project.
Yes,
coming.
yeah,
yes,
it's
it
coming.
does.
It's coming.
Turned in that way.
When we work on a project together, I'm the type of person that I can see the final product and I can almost
Right.
deconstruct it. Where he doesn't necessarily see the final project, but he's really good at moving forward. So we used to fight and kind of
Uh-huh.
bicker about things until we learned that we're like, okay, you just explain this a little bit better,
Right.
and I will get you those steps.
Yeah.
And it does make
I call it constructive criticism.
yeah,
Right.
it does make a huge difference just learning because we both had the same end goal, but we were bickering about how to accomplish it. So we
Right.
had to like take a step back and
Yes.
be like, what's the problem?
Yeah. My deal is I can see, I know what I
can
want.
see it.
Right. I can visually see it in my head.
Yeah.
Now you do it.
That's what I am there for. That is 100%.
Yeah.
And it
It's-
sounds to me as though me and Joe have a lot in
Yes,
common when it
Yes,
comes to that.
they do. It's just like working here at the setting up the fish tube booth. Like I can see what it's going to look like where he might not see it, but I'm like, you put this here,
Yeah.
this here, and this here,
Right.
and then come back,
Right.
and then I'll figure out what else was going to go
Yeah.
where.
Joe's like, okay, well, look, I kind of understand what you want, but why?
Yeah,
It's just a room. I'm like, no, this is my sheepfish room. This is my sheepfish room. Yours is going in the house now. Your man cave's going in the house.
Well,
Mine's going outside.
when we were
This
setting
is
up.
just a she shed.
That's right.
When we were working on setting up that fish room, he wanted the shelving like straight against the wall and elled, and I wanted it kind of like curved.
Yeah.
And he's like, why? I'm like, just because it looks better.
Right?
He's like, it doesn't matter. I'm like, you
Yeah.
don't film it. I
Yeah.
film it and it looks
Right.
better. And so he made it curved for me.
Yeah. I mean, in the long run, I usually get what I want,
Yeah.
but getting there is such a struggle.
I got to explain myself sometimes besides just like, you know,
Right.
you
right,
know,
Right.
of course you know, you
Right.
know.
And he deals with more metal and welding
Yeah.
than he does wood. And so I'm like, well, I mean, that's okay. It's just a different look, but I want wood. So
See, I would like
I don't
to have
know.
metal,
I don't
like
know.
metal
I think if
shelving.
I was you, I would
Go with the metal.
utilize him and have him build
Welding
you
some racks.
killer metal racks, and then to where you can just slide plywood on. You can
Yeah.
paint it,
oh,
slide
he
it in.
could. Oh, he could.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
I don't know why you're not already
I
making
don't
that
know
phone
why.
call.
See, now
I'd already
Jesse's
be.
the
I'd be
same. I'm
texting
like, I
right
get
now
it.
while we're live.
Honey, I got ideas.
This
Honey,
is my
I love
list.
you.
Jesse's helping you out.
Honey, I love you, and this is what I would really, really appreciate you to do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Ed, is there any questions in the chat?
My dear friend Dee Dee,
Oh,
She-
Dee Dee.
she loves her husband quite a bit,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
but she also loves her tanks.
Yes.
Do you guys have any recommendations on how to get him into the hobby?
Have any suggestions
Jesse.
first? Yeah.
Suggestions for that is there. I would find one particular thing that he likes, whether it be plants, shrimp, or fish,
Uh-huh.
and lean towards that. That is actually what got me going. It got me, the plants and the hardware is exactly what pulled me into it. The fish, sorry folks, not so much. I apologize, but that's why she loves me.
Right.
Uh-huh. And there's go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
and he like Joe wants to be proud of it. You know,
Uh-huh.
so he wants to be proud of the construction of it. So I think that's like you're saying. I think that's in the long run. That's how he's gonna be. I don't know. Maybe I'll get lucky and he'll pick a fish. I don't care. One fish, Joe. One,
Uh-huh.
and I'll run with it.
And there's so many different ways. Like you could take them to like in a public aquarium and be like, look at this, and maybe like see something that you didn't know that you liked. Or like I like to go to rock shops. So maybe if they like to go to like a creek or something and be like, we could utilize this in your tank, and it'd be like our special tank. We got these rocks together, or we picked out these gems or whatever, or there's or like some people really like art. You can get them like a really beautiful piece, or paint a piece together of something, a landscape or something that has fish in. Just there's different things. Sometimes you got to think a little outside the box, but there's got to be one.
Well, I
thing.
remember doing one thing. This year was our anniversary, and well, I mean, every year's our anniversary. But on our anniversary this year, I was like, "Well, what do you want?" Or he asked me what I wanted. I was like, "I don't know. It's been 16 years. I don't know."
I got everything.
Right?
I got
buy
you.
what I want, pretty much. But I got you. I was like, "Look, we've got the new saltwater tank. Let's go buy a fish to put in it." Then. That's our fish. That's one we picked out. We can watch grow up. That's the one we bought on this anniversary.
Yeah, something
And
together.
he does really watch the saltwater tank all the time. So saltwater, freshwater, I don't care.
Well,
Whichever one.
Well, and for Dee Dee, that's a good point.
Yes.
Maybe
it's salt.
Yeah, it might be. I didn't even. I mean, salt to me is not my thing yet. Not saying it won't be at some point.
It will be.
Yeah, it's
again. She's gonna drag me down that rabbit hole.
It's a rabbit hole.
Well, I know.
No, it's not a rabbit hole. It's a whale hole.
Yeah. Well, I know he has his older son. The only time that he was like in the fish room, like actively helping me, is he's a fisherman. Like he likes to go fishing.
Okay.
So I let him bring home a largemouth bass, and we kept it a while until we moved it outside, and then unfortunately we have dogs. But anyway, for a long time, that was his fish, and it was the only time he was truly interested in anything in my fish room. So even if like you go catch a fish, we have perch and bass and things like that, crawdads that you can go out and just catch, as long as you can do that where you live.
In your particular state. But we're allowed to have a native tank.
Yeah,
and maybe it's that way too, that they're like, we caught this together. It's not necessarily going, because some people fish store shopping is, if they're not into fish, might be boring, but going out and catching something that you can bring home and care for might be extra special too,
Right. And I think the saltwater tank too is because we collected all that ourselves together.
Yes.
And so that entire tank was built from things that we did together.
Yeah.
He caught some of the stuff, and he toted the sand and the water. You know, so
he got
he is invested in that saltwater tank.
Yeah.
But I don't care if it's saltwater or freshwater, as long as he's
as
into
long
it.
as
one
Oh,
way
it
or the
sounds
other.
like he has a lot of pride in that tank to
He
me.
does.
Yeah.
He does. That tank
And-
for sure.
like you said, as long as I'm not sure what you used earlier, but pride or proud of your
Yeah.
like his stand or something.
Yeah.
Just like you said, like going out and getting it yourself, and
Yes.
you got the substrate, the plants,
Yeah.
and the fish that's in it, and you found your tank at the
Yeah, so Miss Dee Dee, you need
marketplace
to
or
drag him
something.
out into
Yeah.
the water, fresh or soft. Just
Just-
get him in the water.
or maybe like coming to maybe Aquashella.
Yeah.
And just being in this atmosphere, you can't help but be excited, you know? And
Right.
that helped me with him too, just
Yeah.
coming to Aquashella and being around everybody, and the excitement is highly contagious.
Oh yeah.
Your cheeks hurt.
Yes.
Well, and like at Aquashella, if you can't find something
Yeah.
that I would be hard pressed to anyone that doesn't even know anything about the hobby, like I didn't basically 5 years ago, you will find something here that just catches your eye.
Yeah. Any other hobby I've ever been in, he eventually finally got completely fully invested.
Yeah.
So it'll happen.
It
In
will.
time, it'll
it
happen.
so will. And is there any other questions in the chat?
Yes. When you guys first, you and Jesse,
Uh-huh.
when you guys first started going to these fish conventions, did Jesse look for other things to do than the convention in town?
He went to a sports bar and got food and chilled out for a while.
I will admit the first one was a little overwhelming. It
Yeah.
really was.
He
At
just
that point,
needed
I
a
wasn't
break.
invested
Uh-uh.
as much as I am now.
Uh-huh.
And just the coming on the Sunday lives with Kerri,
Uh-huh.
meeting everybody in person at Aquashellas, it really is a great community to be around. And if I don't know something, I can ask somebody, and now I have no problems asking anybody a question.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you guys recommend, if your significant other doesn't really care for the fish, would you give time up to take them somewhere else? Like in Orlando, you would have Disney World right down the corner.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to the give and take.
Yeah.
Spending time together is something that you both can do.
Right.
So you can do part of the fish show.
Yeah. Because you don't want to make the fish part completely miserable. You want to slowly get them to it. So do it half and half.
Yeah, if you force them into, if you really are in it for
Yeah.
you want them to fall in love with it, not just tolerate it.
Right. Right.
Like the doors are open for over the 2 days quite a bit, so you
Yeah.
have plenty of time to go take a breather, because it is overwhelming.
Yes.
And I've been to a lot of them, and I still get that nervous.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just need to step away, have a soda or something, be like, I'm gonna chill for 15 minutes, and then or go find something to do and see something touristy in the area.
Even for Lena, it was a little overwhelming earlier. So
Yeah. So and
Yeah,
you
we even
just-
overwhelmed a dog. The show overwhelmed a corgi.
So there's nothing wrong with that. Go take a break, come
Yeah.
back, go take a break, chillax.
yeah,
type
and
of
she's
thing.
good now. So
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, we've got another question.
All right. Shoot, Ed.
This is for both the ladies.
All
Since
right.
their guys were kind of slow into the hobby.
Uh-huh.
What is the best excuse you ever came up with when they found out you bought a new tank?
no, I didn't.
What? It's been there the whole time.
Right.
You're just
Exactly.
you need to pay closer attention to your surroundings.
Remember last time I bought 2 for $1? I mean, I just
Yeah.
had the other one in the back.
Or I haven't done this, but I probably would. You go get a new tank and go get some dirt, it's going to be a dirted tank or something, or some sand. Get it dirty,
Yeah.
so it looks like
right.
you got
it's
it at
been
a
sitting
garage.
outside or
Yeah.
something.
Oh, I got this at a good deal at a garage sale for a steal. It was on sale, or
Right,
you know,
right. I
and
had a
then-
friend that was giving it away.
commenters, yeah, like
Oh, that is so not going to work now. You have
No, it
said it
was-
live. This
well,
is
now
not going to
you
work.
go with me and find tanks. But yeah, I wouldn't put past me to come up with something. I
Yeah, you
haven't.
got to remember to pull that tag off.
I'm one of those people that
Scrape the sticker off,
I'm
folks,
too,
before you bring it
yeah,
home.
I'm too honest. Like I always out myself because I'm so excited that I'm like, I can't stand it not to tell him. So I'm like, whether I get like whatever, like it's here and I want
Right.
you to come see it.
Yeah, I had it sitting at a friend's house because I didn't have any room right now. So when I got enough room, I was going to bring it home.
I usually like positive reinforcement and a second opinion, I guess. So when I see something cool, I know it's my decision. He's going to be like, get whatever you want.
Right.
But I'll be like, don't you think this is cool?
Yeah.
Like, it's a good deal, right? And
Right.
he's like, I don't really care what he says. I'm going to probably do it because
Right.
I've convinced myself. But I want that, like, it's okay, right?
Encouragement, yeah.
Like, I'm going to,
Yeah, I do too.
you're going to go ahead and make that spot for me. So when I get home, it slides right. It's right there.
Right.
I so would.
Have
Oh.
you guys ever taken your significant other out, like collecting for either fish, rocks, or plants?
Yes, all the time.
Yeah, like me and Joe did the saltwater thing when we were at Aquashella, Orlando.
Yeah.
So that's the saltwater tank we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. We're really lucky. We live pretty close to a lot of like rivers and creeks and like little random things that have all kinds of cool little things that you can collect and bring home.
Oh, yeah. We're surrounded by tons of little walking creeks where you can just walk and ankle
There's a
knee
natural
deep.
spring really close, so the water's really cold, but on those hot
Wow.
days, it feels really good. It's crystal clear, and it's only so deep. It's not very.
Now Landon's getting involved in fishing. Like he's really
Yeah.
starting to get in. They have even a club that when he goes into high school next year that he's
Wow.
saving the money to buy a rod and reel and everything.
Wow,
So
that's-
Oh, they
I
got
have
an
a
anglers
feeling-
club?
Yes.
Oh, that's
That's cool.
awesome.
Yeah, and like I didn't even know that was a thing.
I didn't either.
But
How
yeah,
fun.
so and the funny thing is he found out about it this year and is already saving the money so he can get in it for next year.
Cool.
But his daddy went and found out that there is one in his grade, and so they're gonna get all that going. But I have a feeling that that's coming.
yeah.
That because he's gonna be fishing, he's gonna find one to keep, and then hopefully from there,
Yeah. We got some white or mosquito fish.
yeah,
His uncle actually, we took his uncle collecting. He went and he got us some, and it was really cool that his uncle, like, he
Yeah.
always wanted those fish in his office to breed. And we got them to breed finally in our outside tub.
I have one. I
So-
think's an intruder. I think that's what it is. I'm
Yeah.
not sure exactly,
So
but I
even,
think
like,
that's what it is.
Extended family, I'm excited to call, be like, guess what? You know, this is so cool.
Right.
You know?
Oh, yeah. We had to send him a video of as soon as,
Little baby fish.
yeah, the baby fry everywhere in the top of the 300-gallon tub. And he was like, I've been trying that for 10 years and couldn't do it.
We have a question.
Uh-huh.
You guys both have kids in the house. Has there ever been a disaster?
How
with
many?
kids?
How many this week?
I was going to say, which time?
Mainly when they were younger. When I would say they were in that 5 to 7 age, I had more accident than I do now that my son's 9. Because he'd be like, Mommy, I fed the fish for you.
Yeah.
Plop. I was like, oh man, that was a bit much, darling.
Mine was with the python. You
Uh-huh.
know, you forget that there's still water inside of it
Yeah.
when you go to lay it down. And
Yeah.
so the entire room was flooded from the water that came out of the python
Yeah.
reverse way. Yeah.
Yeah.
It drained the tank.
Oh,
I had to learn to stop doing water changes like within the hour of school like drop off.
Yeah.
Because I would stop, I'd be like, oh, this is draining. I'm gonna go check the kids, see if they got off the bus really quick. And then I'd come back. Well, there's one time that I got super distracted and I didn't come back.
Mm.
And it drained into the bucket and then went all over the floor, but it had drained the water out of that tank
Tank.
till like
Yes.
an
Yep,
inch. And
that's what
luckily the fish that I keep, they're okay that way because they're live bears.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it, but in
Right.
an emergency, they were okay and I got it all switched out. But it was like, oh my goodness, like
Yeah.
I can't believe I did that. Like,
Yep.
Sounds to me like you've made more mistakes on the tanks than the kids did.
Yeah, totally. But like I will have, since our base, like our fish room's in the basement, and next, like it's our fish room right here, and next to it, the kids is like
right.
play area. There's been times where I've come in and there's been Nerf bullets in the tank. I'm like, how many Nerf bullets were you using this tank for target practice?
Right.
Or like when we moved some little summer tubs in for the winter, and it was in like our pool room, and that's where they watch movies. And I don't know, maybe once a month someone would accidentally spill something. Their mom, I spilled my whatever, and it was never water. It could never be water, you know?
Right. I'm amazed at the stuff that I find in my outdoor tanks when I'm breaking them down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just random things. Like,
Arrows. Yeah.
Yeah. Just random things that you just like, this should not, like, this is not good.
Right. I mean,
for
what you're not
this.
missing this. I mean,
Exactly. They're
Just
I don't know when
random.
that happened.
right?
Yeah. And the cat, I fight the cat a
Underwear.
lot too.
Underwear.
Uh-huh.
Now, that's a new
Who
one
was
on
skinny
me.
dipping in my pool
That's a new one on me. For
or
real.
pond?
We have dogs in our backyard that are Shiba Inus, and they're very curious little lovely dogs. And I have to be careful because sometimes they can jump,
In them.
not like, and they get into the pond,
Okay.
my koi pond, but they get in and they're so curious that sometimes they just like, I'm like, you're gonna snap a piece off or something. I was just
Right.
like, they're pushing and pulling,
Yeah.
and it's just like
The corgis aren't quite tall
kids.
enough for that.
kids, dogs, like,
Oh, it's nonstop. It's nonstop.
it's always something, you know.
It is. Well, that and the fact we have a funny farm.
Yeah, we have a lot
Hey,
of.
add horses to the mix.
Yeah,
No,
Yeah.
staying out of that. Staying out of that one.
we don't need any more now.
Right.
Is there any more questions coming in?
Well, how do you guys get the children into the hobby? Like, has any of them wanted tanks in their rooms? And if so, what fish do you recommend kids start with?
So Landon's got the turtle, which is in a 20-gallon long. And then, like I said, hopefully with this new fishing deal that the native fish that he catches, maybe he catches a small one that isn't quite big enough to do whatever he's going to do with. And then maybe he wants to throw it in a tank. So, or like, I know that we've been walking through, whatever Petco or PetSmart or even our local FS, and he'll say, oh, well, that one's pretty. I'm like, okay. And I'll grab it and bring it home. And he'll be like, look, that's the one that you said was pretty.
I know Jesse. It's two Jess and Jess. Come on.
Two Jesses don't make a right.
No. His daughter used to keep a betta at her mom's house for a while, but she's getting really curious about bearded dragons all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah.
So we haven't got her anything, but I know she was
Game
curious about
Yeah, it's about
bettas.
to.
Yeah, but they're getting really curious, not necessarily about fish,
Yeah.
but they're really curious about tearing apart and setting up like little aquascapes. So we don't always put water in the tanks, but they like playing around
That's
with like
cool.
the different substrates. But whenever we go to the pet store, my son's so obsessed with cats that I'm like, let's pick out a fish. So I am curious. I would recommend something like more, because I am a live bear
Right, me
person,
too.
more on the live bear side.
Yeah.
But there's just, I would say something that's not overly
Right,
nothing like
like
monster
the bettas
fish, but mollies or platies, or there's
Guppy.
shrimp, even just
Yeah,
shrimp.
shrimp.
Like, I am so fascinated by shrimp, and they're a lot. I keep the Neo Caradinas, and so I feel like they're way easier than I thought, and they're fascinating to like swim around and like scurry around.
Pick at everything.
Yeah,
and,
so even starting off with just shrimp.
and then
would
there's
be
shrimp
cool.
that have fans on their feet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Clean the substrate at
Heck
the same
yeah.
time. Just dust in the house. Just
Yep,
dust in
yep.
the house.
I think it's ghost
I think
shrimp,
shrimp are a real
and
good,
a mono.
real good choice.
Yeah,
Amano shrimp.
a mono shrimp. But they're more fascinating than I ever expected. And a tank full of just shrimp, honestly,
Yeah.
is like awesome.
Right. I mean, I'm partial to nano, and I think go nano before you go big. But then there's
Uh-huh.
people that say it's so much easier to keep a bigger tank.
It is.
But
It
I don't
doesn't
know. I feel
fluctuate.
like, yeah.
It doesn't fluctuate. I know when I first set up my 5-gallon tanks, I had a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah.
Now I've had them so long that I don't even have a filter on them. They're
Right.
just kind of self-sustaining, but I have a lot of plants in them.
Yeah.
But I know my like 55-gallon and my 75-gallon, I have smaller fish in them, but I don't have to. It almost does better if I don't mess with it because they're heavily planted with a bunch of small fish. And sometimes I can make things a little overcomplicated and I over clean things in the beginning and I made it way worse on
That's
myself.
a whole nother world
So,
there.
I can see the advantages of the smaller tank because it's nice. It
Yeah.
fits right there.
Yeah.
It doesn't. If you look at a 75-gallon for your first tank,
Yeah.
you're just overwhelmed by like
Yes.
all that water.
Yeah.
But if you can start with like a 20 long,
And the amount of money it costs to set up that big of a tank.
If you-
I would say a 10 to 20
Yeah.
a
gallon.
20 long, I just don't have those ups and down swings in the very beginning.
Right. Yeah. And I consider anything nano is like 40 and under, but
Yeah.
some people think 20 and under.
Well, you have to be careful too because is nano the gallons or is
Yeah.
nano the fish?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
that's a whole nother debate.
It's a whole other debate.
I hear you.
I think it was on, was it Rico Stan chat
Yeah.
that they were talking about that?
Yeah, that's a whole nother debate. Is nano 5 and under?
Right.
Or is it 2 and under?
Right.
Or is it whatever you can put water in?
It's dang sure not the hundreds and
It
over.
means whatever I'm meaning it to mean in
I think
the
we're pretty
sentence
clear on that
that
one.
I'm saying.
Right.
You know, I need you to like just know and that like I just assume you know what's in my head. You
Right,
know?
right. Telepathy.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to go with 10 to 20 gallons and probably shrimp,
Uh-huh.
mollies, guppies, obviously tomatoes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That would be the easiest.
Yeah.
And I'm still going to pump for the plants. Plant
Yeah,
that
plant.
tank.
Achilles.
Yeah,
Achilles,
Achilles.
another good
We
one.
always forget about the Achilles, but they
Uh-huh.
really could be.
I know when my parents allowed me to keep aquariums in my room by myself, I think I was like in middle school, and I kept a tank in each corner of my room with guppies that were cold water with snails. And that seemed, they were on like the smaller, I feel like they were like smaller and taller type tanks, but I just loved it because I got to see the babies. They were super
Yeah,
colorful. I didn't have heaters, and I had like the under gravel bubble
Yeah.
filter
under gravel
type thing
filters.
back then, and it just worked out because I got my snails too. So I
Yep.
just got everything that they were small. There wasn't a large bio load,
That
They
was
had
before
all the
shrimp,
babies,
The little shrimp
yeah.
came in.
and it was like early 90s. I don't know, middle school.
You're kind of dating yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. But
She-
that's what I started with, and it's because my mom hates aquariums, and it's not that she hates it; it's the sound of the water. She does not like. I appreciate the sound of the water,
Okay, yeah.
but
me
my
too.
dad is a major fish lover,
Yeah.
so she compromised and let me have one in my room, so she couldn't hear it, but I needed to make sure my room didn't smell like fish tanks,
Right.
you know.
Right.
So that's just what I had starting off, and it worked out well.
Right. My mom is back down to just one community 20 gallon,
Uh-huh.
but she was up to like 4.
Uh-huh.
But then when I got in it, she's like, "Well, why do I need to be? I just need the one pretty one. I'll let her do the rest."
Yeah. We set a tank up for my dad. My dad has a brain injury. And so they took a portion of his right frontal lobe out. And we set him up a tank for his birthday a couple of years ago. And he's got angelfish and tetra. And we tried some shrimp, but I
Yeah.
told him, I was like, I don't, with the angelfish.
Me too.
So
Yeah.
we tried.
Well,
and,
we warned him. We warned
Yeah,
him.
Yeah,
we warned
yeah.
him. But as long as it's quiet, we use the like a whisper filter for it, and as long as it's quiet, it keeps my mom happy, and it gives my dad. It just gives him something to like look at and
Oh,
enjoy,
yeah.
and I feel like it's just better for his, gives him
Right.
something to like look at,
Yeah, my stepmom's in a boat like the same, almost the same, but that's what I'm gonna do. They don't know if that's what I'm doing. For
Yeah, it
Christmas.
really does make a huge difference.
Surprise!
Right.
Yeah, we got him a fancy light. He could like change all the settings. And we always had the plastic. We never had live plants growing up. It's a kind of last 3 or 4 years maybe. We got
Yeah,
into live.
right.
So I set him up some live plants in there for the first time. And We had his angelfish. They paired up, and we saw like little wigglers in there, and
Cool.
it was cool. It
Yeah.
was the first time we've seen that, and we were both like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing!"
You
Well,
guys,
yeah.
we have time for one more question. This
Okay.
question's been brought up a couple times from
Okay.
RB. It's a little off subject, but he would like to know who has more tanks, Jess or Kerri?
Jess.
Oh.
Jess has way more than me. She has like 40
Yeah, I've
something,
got
and I
40
have.
plus.
I think I have maybe 30 if you count my outside tubs too.
But they have bigger gallon tanks than I have.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I don't have anything over a 40.
Yeah, I
So-
have from a 5-gallon no filter tank to my 180 arowana tank, and then my koi pond is like 250 gallons.
Oh, that one's a lot bigger.
Is it a lot? I can't remember.
Yeah,
Maybe
you might double that. You might go about
I don't
closer
know.
to 5.
It comfortably fits 4 koi fish, a large goldfish, and a bunch of rosy red minnows that have lots and lots of babies. And then we have the 2 300-gallon tubs. So you definitely outnumber me.
I've got 2 3-gallon, 300-gallon, no, 2 150s,
Uh-huh.
and then a 100 outside.
Uh-huh. I watch you every day. I know what you got.
Yeah,
I'm like, when is Jess coming on?
You can't lie on this live stream. But
I know. And I'm going to answer for you.
all right, is there anything else that you two lovely ladies would like to say about
Have
Aquashella?
Have fun. I hope I
Have
to
fun.
see you here. Come say hi if you're here. If
Right.
you're listening. If not, come see us.
Exactly.
Yep.
Come pet the puppies.
Yes.
Yep, come check out the booth. Tomorrow they'll be doing the donuts and coffee again.
The costumes are going to be
That's
fantastic.
right. The costumes, you guys.
It took me 2 months to sew my costume, and I'm so excited
It
to
took me
show it
4
off.
days, 24 hours at a time.
Just mainly thank you so much for tuning in. Mainly, and I
Yes,
will
thank you for being here.
see you hopefully soon, and we'll
Right.
talk soon.
That's right.
So, thank you so
Sounds
much.
wonderful. Thank you, Aquashella. And everyone have a great show.